Hello, how are you today? I'm very nervous and I'm so excited because today we are having a very special episode. It is the first episode with a guest. And as I said in the pilot episode, I want to conduct interviews with my friends who have different levels of English and different stories to tell. So today you will hear Caro's language learning journey. Let me introduce you a little bit first, okay? So I met Caro at the university during our fantastic Spanish classes that I've already told you about. And soon it occurred that she is a very, very clever and witty girl who sneezes in a funny way and who is extremely ambitious. So ambitious that she will get her PhD soon. And apart from that, she runs her translation company, Ask Me Translations, and she teaches in a language school, and she has a blog with book reviews which is called Red Hat in Wonderland. I'm sure that I forgot about something, but those are your main activities, aren't they, Caro?
Yes, that's true. Hi, hello, and I'm shocked that you mentioned my sneezing as a form of introduction, but yeah, okay.
You were very famous at the university because of that. So how could I not?
Was I?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Even our professors laughed at you.
Yes.
With you.
Yes.
Should I say with you?
I think it was at me, but yeah, that's very generous. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so let me ask you a few questions I prepared, and let's talk. And of course, everything will be about language. So, first question: when and how did your English learning story start?
I was 7 years old. That was the first class of primary school, and there was this additional course organized by school because in the school agenda we didn't have English lessons. I think they started in the 4th grade.
Quite late.
Yeah, quite late. So this was like school's initiative to introduce us to English, and these were additional classes. Mm-hmm. Even before lessons, so that was like
in the morning, you mean?
Yeah, in the morning, and that was painful, but it soon occurred that it's fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's weird because my English started in kindergarten, so quite early. All right. And when did you start to feel that English is so important for you that you want to study it?
Oh, that I want to study. I mean, I think it was in the 4th grade that I realized that English is my favorite subject. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to learn it, to enjoy it. But English studies, that wasn't my actually first choice. I applied for these studies right after my Matura exam, but I chose a different path, regrettable, and obviously I ended up studying English 3 years later. But I think I wanted to study and learn more because I wanted to learn about the history, literature. I'm this example of a person who actually likes grammar. So
right, you are the one. I thought that I don't know anyone, and here you go, the closest friend. Jeez.
Yes, but even my students are surprised because when it comes to vocabulary, it's like synonyms, give me more. But when it comes to grammar, I'm this kind of a crazy scientist who tries to explain everything, and they're just like, yeah, she's at it again.
Okay, but is it like, what is so appealing about grammar? Like, what is it? Like,
I mean,
what did you find in there?
It's logical. I mean, if you...
In English, no, it's not. Please, everybody who listens to my podcast, don't believe in it. It's so not logical. It's a mixture of so many languages.
Yeah, but it's a mixture. But when you think of this grammar that you get into touch with when you are a student, especially young student, there are these rules which, when you follow them, everything just falls into place, and it's it becomes easier. So I know, like, nowadays you're not supposed to teach rules. You're supposed to give like examples and allow students to just get the idea on their own. But the rules are helpful because if you just like you can just think of different contexts. So can I apply this rule to this context? So it's just like I like this one, this part.
Yeah. So you like this part that I don't, because it reminds me of mathematics.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Great. The first person I know who likes grammar.
Yeah, but this is because in junior high school and in high school, my profiles were math profiles. So maybe that's why.
Okay, so you're a logical person, that's why. Yeah.
Yeah, like chaotic, logical. A mixture.
All right, okay. But apart from grammar, you mentioned literature, and was it always about literature? I don't know, specifically about British one, Irish one, American, or whatever?
Well, at the beginning it was whatever, because like I was introduced to books at a very early age, because my mom used to read a lot, and she still reads a lot. So that's like a habit still. But yeah, it was a fascination with British literature at the beginning. And now it's more Irish, but it's connected with the fact that I used to live there, so I just kind of soaked this.
And do you remember your first book in English that you've read?
Yeah, it was Pride and Prejudice.
Oh my God, that was how I was afraid of that.
Yes, it was so difficult. It was so difficult because like my teacher said, you should start reading in English because this will improve your skills. And I was like, yeah, okay, so what can you recommend? And she was like, okay, let's start with the classics.
Jane Austen.
Yeah, it wasn't a complete disaster, but I feel that I just got the idea of the book, not really appreciated everything, not the language, because it was too difficult at the time. Yeah, but
19th century literature. Not a good idea for a start.
Not really.
But did you fall in love with Mr. Darcy?
Yes, obviously. Obviously.
Okay, yeah. So, me too, but I watched the BBC series, and Colin Firth.
Oh no!
Yes.
I hate him in this role.
What can I say? You know.
Yeah, you just can't choose. Sometimes you just can't choose. It just hits you.
So do you remember your first contact with real English? I mean, abroad, when you had to use it, but not with a teacher at school, but with a person who is a native speaker.
Oh, no, not necessarily with a native speaker. I do remember one situation. We were on holiday abroad. It was in Italy. And I was supposed to go to ask some staff to come to change a light bulb.
Oh wow!
And that was primary school, end of primary school, and I think this was the very first time when I had to use English like outside the classroom. That I was petrified. I was absolutely petrified, and I remember going on this holiday with a tiny dictionary because that these were the times where you actually didn't have apps on your phones. I didn't have a phone at that time, so there you go. But yeah, I had this tiny pocket-size dictionary, and I was like petrified because I had to like check the word, which I actually knew. I knew the word light bulb, but it was very, very stressful. And I was like shaking all over, but finally, everything went well. We had lights.
And you,
in the, I think it was bathroom, but I'm not sure.
All right.
So yeah, the light bulb was actually crucial. I couldn't like skip the part. Like no, there was no one I could ask for that. So no, not really. No, I don't think it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my first contact with English was also petrifying, but I was in high school in London.
Okay.
And we just arrived and we had some free time. So I decided that after 24 hours in coach, I had to eat something. So I went
That's
to
reasonable, yeah.
Subway. Not the cleverest idea that I had.
I mean,
because you had to choose and say every part of a sandwich that you want.
I get confused in Poland in Subway restaurants.
So you can imagine. And of course, I said salad instead of lettuce. And eventually, I took a sandwich with everything, and I paid so much.
Oh my goodness!
I remember that one zlotys was like 7 zlotys was like £1. It was very expensive. Yeah. So I think my sandwich cost like £20. It was almost everything I had. I don't know, something like that. Maybe I exaggerate a bit, but it was like a big sum of money for a sandwich that I didn't really want
to eat
because it had everything in it.
At this point, you stop being hungry.
Oh jeez, no, it was frustrating, and yeah, but with time it was better. So okay, and do you have any embarrassing stories connected to using English in your early days?
Honestly, it's not that early. It was I think the most embarrassing story that still wakes me up at night is the one when I was living in Northern Ireland, and I was on a train, and there was like a free non-occupied space seat next to me, and there was a guy who just came up and said like, "Do you mind if I sit here?" And I wasn't thinking in English, because you should say like...
yeah, sure.
No, I don't mind.
Oh, okay, but...
See, I said, yeah, sure. Because like, do you mind? Yes, I do mind. So he just left. He just gave me this weird look, and he just like, okay. And left. He just went past, because I was like, yeah, I do mind. Because
do you have a problem with that?
I was thinking in Polish, like when someone asks you,
yeah,
like, can I take a seat next to you? You say, yeah, sure. But in English, you just say, like, do you mind? No, I don't. Just take a seat. So
yeah, that's true.
That's the hard way that I learned, just to use full sentences.
Or you can just nod, or I don't know.
But I would still be nodding in Polish, right? So yeah, so...
Ah, disaster.
Yeah,
but it's so...
It hit me 5 minutes later, because I was like, okay, so what's wrong with the guy? He asked me like if...
Yeah. And he just left.
Oh. Yeah, so, yeah.
And you are like, you don't see Caro, but she is redhead. So she looks like Irish. And the guy was, I think, very sad that you said no.
I mean, he was not just like... I don't think he wanted to hit on me, but I remember,
Who knows?
I don't know, but I remember also in I think I was in Derry, and I asked a couple to take a picture of me, because I was usually like sightseeing and traveling alone. So I asked them if they could just help me. And they were like, because I was like speaking with an accent then, because I pick accents up quite easily, and then it's just like for a few months I can speak with the same accent. They asked, well, where are you from, and what do you do? And I was just like, yeah, I'm a student here, and it's just like
Dublin,
sightseeing or something. And they were like, oh, so where are you from? And I was like, well, Poland. And so you're not from here, because they were Canadians, and they thought that they spotted like native redheads speaking with an accent.
So Irish.
So Irish.
Oh wow! And they wanted to take a picture of you.
Probably
real Irish in Ireland.
Yeah, but they probably were disappointed, because they are Canadians. They were very polite and nice.
Okay.
But that was quite nice.
Yeah. Okay. And as I mentioned in an introduction of you, you are very busy.
Yes, I am.
So you have a lot on your plate?
Yep.
Not literally. Okay, no, never mind. And everything you do is connected to English, right? A PhD, translation, what else? Teaching. And
occasionally, writing reviews of English books.
Yeah, because you read in English as well for your blog. Okay, so which of those things is the most challenging, and which gives you the biggest satisfaction?
Oh, it's a tough one because it's like choosing between your favorite child. I was so excited after graduating.
I have only one, so
you don't have to choose.
Yeah.
But no, I was after graduating from university. I was like so excited that now I can do everything. That I just couldn't pick one thing. and yeah, that's how I roll.
Okay. I barely survive.
Yeah. No, I mean. I think that before I started English studies, I was like, no, I don't want to be a teacher. But then I realized that actually it gives me a lot of pleasure. And when I see the progress of my students, this is the most satisfying thing. And translating, it's also rewarding because you can see the change within the text. So you get the original text and then you translate it. And sometimes it sounds easy and people think that, okay, so you just think in another language and you just put it into words and like, I don't know, put it on paper and that's it. But it's also rewarding, especially when you struggle with some expression or some syntax in a sentence. And then after a few minutes or days, you come up with something that you are satisfied with. And then you just don't post it on social media, but it's rewarding. But yeah, but reading books, I mean, I can't imagine my free time without books. So I think I'm very lucky to say that I somehow managed to like incorporate this into my professional life.
Okay. Yeah, but about translation now, it's not easy.
No.
And it's super extra time consuming because when you cannot figure out how to translate something so it sounds natural, you spend days and nights thinking about this one freaking thing. And in my case, when I started university, when I started English philology, I knew I wanted to be a translator, but then the life verified it. And I liked classes. The classes were great, and you had to prepare something. I won a page, right, to get a note, and that was fine. It was like a puzzle or something, challenging and nice. But doing it every day, wow! I admire you.
I think the trick is to get different texts. Not just to commit to one area, because that would be maybe as a translator you have to pick some specializations, so you just don't translate everything because you have to be a professional at some area and then just improve it. But if you have like 3 different topics that you are good at, that's good because they're like very different things, and then you can just have a variety of different texts and subjects. So that also is good to translate something you actually enjoy yourself.
And in your case, what is your favorite type, genre, or I don't know how to call it? Yeah, the type of translation. What do you feel good at?
I think like nowadays I do a lot of like marketing. So it's sometimes it is rewarding when you have to be witty because you know you are addressing a special target audience. So it's good to be sometimes to use some catchy phrases and stuff like that. Obviously, my main goal was to translate literature, but I'm still working on it. But yeah, there's only one book that I have translated so far. But yeah, I would like to translate more of these because when you have a plot in a text, it's easier to translate it than when you have just these kind of raw sentences out of context, and this is tiring. This is the most tiring.
And do you have this obsession that you are checking I don't know, other books or even leaflets or whatever, you know, that and you compare to translation in original and Polish version, and you say, oh my god, how could somebody translate it in that way? Because even if I'm not a translator, I do it all the time.
Yes, because when you know that there's a different option of translating this, and usually we think that our option is the best, then it's a habit. Recently, I have read 2 books in Polish and in English, and I was reading like chapter by chapter, taking one language and the second one. And it was like, so this was translated this way and that way, but that's really tiring for a hobby. But I have the tendency to really listen to a translation when I watch something. Sometimes if you have a voiceover, you can still hear the original language, and usually I just watch TV series or films with Polish subtitles on, because just to check how it was translated. And it's like, sometimes maybe I'm devastated because like, how could you? There are some rules that you have to follow with audiovisual translation, but sometimes you can just do things differently, and you know it, and
better.
I didn't want to use that word, but you feel this is better,
because sometimes people don't know, if they don't know anything about audiovisual translation, that the text has to be shorter, because we read a bit slower than we listen. I mean, that's obvious. But the text has to be shorter, so sometimes the text is short, and
you have to have like 42 characters in a line for your eye to catch it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot.
Yeah. So there are rules. So obviously, when you listen to the original text and then you read the subtitle, it's usually different, because you just have to have time, and with very fast dialogues, it's problematic to put everything, because also the subtitle has to be on screen for a specific period of time. But then again, sometimes you think that there were other options.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes there are mistakes, which is even more devastating. And I think those mistakes happen because, come on, we are human. And as I said in the previous episode, everyone commits mistakes. And that's obvious. But if you are in a cinema looking at the subtitles, and then you are, oh God, it's not even this word, or this context. But but that's normal. And what is the most interesting and appealing about your job? You mentioned a few things, but is there anything else that you especially love about translation?
Yeah, so like I said, there are some rewarding things when you translate. But even with the same subject, you get the different ideas. And you can learn something from every new text. So then you have like, your mind is full of fun facts, and they're not very useful, but sometimes
good for parties. To impress someone, that you know those things.
Okay, I will have to use them someday.
The restaurants are open again, so maybe there will be possibility. You might not want to talk about it, but what about your salary, your income? Because you have your own company, and I had this rough idea of a translator as an occupation, and I thought that translators earn a lot of money.
It is possible to make a living, but you usually count. We have this idea in Poland to count pages. Actually, in the rest of Europe and in on other continents as well, you usually count the word, and it's definitely easier. But you have to work quite a lot. And working as a freelance translator, there's also this myth that you can get up at noon and, work for a few hours and finish at 4 p.m. and you're free to go and you're just happy and rich. And no, we have to debunk that stereotype. So no.
Yeah. How many hours do you sleep?
Not enough.
And it's not only fault of translating, but other things that you do. But of course, translation, I think it takes a lot of time, like many hours.
But I think when I try to do something, I also sleep less, because I want everything to be perfect. So even when I plan my lessons, it's also the lesson is like, I don't know, 90 minutes, but the preparation also takes quite a lot because you want it to be interesting, I don't know, like just memorable sometimes even. So
and not everybody appreciates it and understands it. I know.
Yeah.
I have the same.
That's sad,
but that's good that we can talk and we understand each other, you know.
It is what it is.
And can you see the difference? Because when did you start the company? How many years ago? Because it was a few years ago, right now.
4 years ago.
Okay, Jesus, 4 years.
2017.
So it's 4. Very good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yay.
Math profile in high school. Good. So do you see the difference between you 4 years ago and now in quality and speed of translation?
Oh yes, definitely. Yes. When I it all depends on the text you get, but yes, definitely I can see that I started at the pace that I was like 1 hour equals 1 page. So that was quite a lot. Nowadays I think it's like I said, it depends on the text, but it can be like 30 minutes. So it's almost twice the speed because you also have to check it and verify. So that's a different story. But yes, and I think also my idea of running a company is different, and I think I'm just like less stressed about certain things, especially when it comes to contacting a client or and other translators. So yeah, I don't cry that much when something goes wrong.
That's good. That's a positive thing after 4 years. So you said that you contact other translators, and why do you do that?
Sometimes you have to verify something. Sometimes you just you can recommend a client because this is just not your field of expertise. So you cooperate. Yes,
and there is like a race between translators.
I think it depends on the personality of the translator, but you don't work with people you don't necessarily like because the market is full, definitely, so you can pick and choose what you want. But
okay, good. And now about your PhD, so we are a bit changing the subject, but I'm very interested in your topic. So can you explain to everyone so that everyone understands what your PhD is about?
So my PhD is connected with Northern Irish poetry, and I have this specific interest in one poet, and I'm just trying to analyze his work in comparison with other Irish poets. So that's it. That's pretty simple explanation.
And who is the poet?
Frank Ormsby.
Interesting, isn't it?
No, I mean there are different subjects in progress. So there's this idea of elegy. There's idea of the troubles. So some war and military poetry. So stuff like that. So, but there's also the idea of responding to some contemporary needs in the society, and pretty much,
Okay. Now I'm laughing that it's interesting, like it's irony, but it's very difficult. I mean, poetry, it was always difficult for me, so I cannot imagine writing a PhD,
It is difficult, considering that my BA thesis was on Irish drama. My MA was a critique of British society in children's books, so something completely different. And now
here we go.
Yeah, so why not suddenly Irish poetry?
Okay, why not, exactly. And connecting it to what you said before, that you lived for a few months in Ireland, how was it?
Oh, great.
Rainy.
Rainy, absolutely rainy. No, but honestly, these months were great, and I learned so much. And I think it was a life lesson, but it was also eye-opening when it came to my literary interests, because I was like, okay, only British literature is good, and suddenly, like I said, the BA, the MA as a critique, and then you have the PhD as Irish literature. So you can see that my whole view changed. So there it is. No, but it was brilliant, and I actually recommend anyone to leave for such a student exchange, because it helps a lot. Whenever there's a chance, I would like to go there again.
Good. I will go with you.
Good.
So I will have a guide. Okay, and the last question for today. Do you have any tip or advice for people who learn English and, they are not very happy with the progress? They don't believe in themselves. And what would you say they should do? Apart from the fact that they shouldn't give up.
the first
but
thing
why? Why they shouldn't give up?
I think it's because you are your own worst enemy. You cannot actually verify your English. You can when you are in a situation when you actually have to use it. But when you just study it and you are quite regular when it comes to it, you just cannot see the change. I think it's like with growing your hair. If you check the progress day by day, you can't see shit. But when you take a picture, pardon my French, but when you take a picture from a few weeks or months before, you realize that there is quite a huge change. So I think, it's just don't give up. But there are just situations which will verify somehow, even understanding the lyrics of your favorite artist, or understanding more of the dialogue of your favorite TV series, or just just being abroad and realizing that, okay, I understood everything, and I can just, order food at restaurant, and I heard some notification at Subway, so that's fine. It's not just mind the gap. It's just for example, there are some roadworks ahead, and they tell you to change the station. So this is it.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for a nice conversation.
Thank you for having me.
And for a nice piece of advice. And I hope you find this interview interesting and informative, because I know that not many people know a lot about translation. And as your homework, if you have any more questions to Caro, send them to me. Maybe we will repeat the interview, or we will make a Q&A session. Who knows?
That sounds amazing. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Tell me also what you think about a profession like a translator, and how you perceive this job. And that's it, I think. So thank you for listening, and hear you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.